Welcome, ejaculating Wookiees, to Geek Salad's Retro Reviews. Told you. From the Geek Salad Podcast, I'm Andy, and unfortunately, my co-host Mike could not join us. He is out in lovely sunny California visiting his girlfriend Jana and having a grand old time at Disneyland. So, instead of me having to trudge through a Santa Claus movie by myself, I thought to myself, how else could I just twist the holiday knife and bring some friends along with me to drink in the despair that is the Star Wars holiday special? And I honestly could not think of two better people to do this with than my good friend Tom Green from the Movies After Work podcast and my good friend Kurt Smith, who has given us the shittiest of shitty sequels to cover in the last year. So, yeah.
I think it's about time you punished me for making you watch Caddyshack 2 and Jaws the Revenge.
It is about goddamn time, Kurt. So all right.
If it's revenge for him, then what am I?
Yeah.
What do you gain revenge on me for?
I'm not kidding. I missed you. And I feel like if I was going to have a good conversation with anybody about this, you two are the best people to have a conversation about, especially because of the varying, ages and stuff like that, too. I'm really interested in seeing what you guys thought of this, because I will take my perspective in a second. But my first question is, was this viewing that you both did the first time you ever saw this?
No.
Yes.
No? Yeah.
No.
Tom, really? This is the first time you've seen it?
It is something that I'm not a big holidays person to begin with, completely honestly, and this is the sort of thing that since I was a small child, my father has warned me about. So I've always just taken him at value on it, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Kurt?
Yeah, this is not the first time I've seen this.
Okay.
I have seen this today. Would have been probably my 10th time I've seen the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Okay.
Just the third time this year, actually. I watched it here around Thanksgiving. I have the riff tracks of it on my hard drive. And I went to my friend's house, and him and I watched it earlier in the month. And then I watched it today making my 57-point bullet list of notes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to be the one to keep us... Oh, okay. Yeah. See, it's all locked up in here for me.
No, I had to make notes because
yeah.
I was losing... Well, I was watching the riff tracks of it, so that helps. But it was still like I wanted to bash my head in against the wall because I'm like, why does this thing exist?
Right. Well, all right. Well, the reason why it exists is because it was written by a sentient pile of cocaine in 1970, in the summer of 1978.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it exists. So I saw this live. I saw the initial broadcast.
Oh.
The one time it was broadcast. I remember it very distinctly because I was 6 years old, and it was like one of those things that like I had to earn staying up late, and that meant like, okay, you're gonna take a nap in the middle of the day. I don't want you cranky. It's like I did everything right. I did all the things that 6-year-old Andy was supposed to do. I sit and I watch it. And at the end of it, going up to bed, just kind of figuring out. I didn't know what bad was yet. I didn't know that it was possible for things that I loved, because I was like the world's biggest Star Wars fan, to be like working it out in my head. Like, I don't know if I like this. Yeah, how am I going to integrate this in with the action figures later on? I don't know what I'm going to do. It's like, am I going to take some of the extra action figures, some of the non-Star Wars action figures that I integrated into play, and being like, I wonder if I can make them the super gay acrobats. Who plays bass for Jefferson's Starship in my play version?
It's still Paul Kettner for me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Nothing.
I'm a big Jefferson Airplane fan. So
right. But then there's nothing sadder than watching the transition from the band that did White Rabbit into the band that did We Built This City.
I would rather listen to that song than listen to Can You Light the Sky on Fire.
Oh boy, It was rough. It was really rough. And I told my wife this story because we watched it when Riff Tracks recently released for free the Star Wars Holiday Special. Sans the Jefferson Starship version performance and the Boba Fett cartoon. The only thing worth salvaging
I was
in
gonna
this
say that's the only thing
nightmare.
that's available to watch on Disney Plus from this entire damn special. Is that
Exactly.
cartoon.
Exactly. Released in tandem with those two Ewok specials that Tom hosted on the Movies After Work podcast.
I did the first of the live action movies, and I still have a bounty out for that son.
But I told my wife that story, and she was heartbroken. She couldn't bear to think that 6-year-old Andy is just like experienced his first disappointment. Considering, I still believe in Santa Claus at this time. So it was kind of a harsh Thanksgiving weekend for me, I guess, is what I'm trying to say here. Because this is not a Christmas special. I will not consider this ever to be a Christmas special. Don't you ever fucking throw it in. And it's like, here are the worst Christmas specials. It's a Wookiee Life Day special.
Yeah. If it aired around Christmas time, then that could be a logical argument. But this aired the week before Thanksgiving in 1978.
Week before, actually, it would have been the week before Thanksgiving. This was more of a Thanksgiving thing, and I'm sure that if I go on IMDb right now and find out when the Wild Geese opened up, because you can't find. I don't know. Did either of you guys find this without the commercials?
No.
Yeah.
You found it without the commercials, Tom.
Yeah, so I watched a version of it on YouTube that did not have the commercials.
Oh.
It did let me know ahead of time that GM sponsored it, which is just so beautifully appropriate. This complete car crash of a special was sponsored by GM. It's just
they got their money back too from that sponsorship.
As far as I'm aware, I think this thing actually was like I think it won its time slot because you slap the name Star Wars on there.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's 1978. Star Wars is still the hottest thing in America at this point.
Well, that's the whole reason why they did this and jumped on it and put zero thought into the actual creative.
Say, literally, no thought to canon, no thought to even how to properly pronounce Kashyyyk. There's two ways to do it.
Kashyyyk. Oh, Kazook.
Kazook.
Yep.
There's two ways to pronounce it. It's Kashyyyk or Kashyyyk.
Right.
And he chose the worst way possible. He chose the wrongest freaking way possible to do that, to pronounce that.
Yeah.
Well, I was scrolling through the IMDb trivia, and Lucas basically just picked one of his like names that he had on a list of potential names for Chewie's planet. He just picked one at random. So it's not even that they're mispronouncing. It's that Lucas hadn't settled on it yet.
Right.
It would have been kind of funny if they would have landed on Utapau.
Utapau actually, I think, was going to show up in the original Star Wars.
Yeah, because I've seen the notes for the treatment he wrote in 1975, and Utapau's on there. I'm like, okay, so he had the planning for Utapau. So yeah.
And I don't know if you guys ever read the coffee table books of the original trilogy. They're all amazing. So I can't remember. I got to go back and reread it. But the making of Empire Strikes Back, I think they might have mentioned a little bit about the holiday special. Not a lot, because Lucas really was just like, okay, fine, I'll just sign off on this. I'm busy working on an actual movie now.
Yeah, I gotta write Empire Strikes Back. No,
exactly.
No, he didn't write it. It was
he just wrote the story for it. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Lee Brackett wrote the original screenplay, and Lawrence Kasdan was brought in to just look at this and go, this is all crap. I'm fixing all of this. So impressions on this nightmare thing.
Why? That's literally my first notes, and my review on my Letterboxd account is just why. Why? why did you make this? Why did you not put any effort into it? Why is it needlessly funny when it doesn't need to be funny? Or it could be funny if you gave a crap about how to be funny. I think they got like Bruce Valanche and some of these other people who were
Bruce Valanche on a
these
mountain
like
of
variety
cocaine.
show writers.
Yeah.
Yeah, these variety show writers and these people who like write. I don't know what the hell they write.
They wrote a lot of. It was a lot of variety shows, and essentially, as Lore puts it, most of these variety show writers were essentially finding themselves out of work because the variety show was falling out of favor in 1970s TV.
Right.
So I'm sure that they were like, okay, well, let's look at some of the highest rated shows of our genre and see what we can kind of integrate in there. So, Shields and Yarnell, because, at one point in the 70s, there was enough cocaine in the public bloodstream to actually warrant a variety show starring mimes.
Yeah, that's not face paint. That's just cocaine.
Yeah,
do the gums. You gotta do the gums.
Yeah, exactly. The joke doesn't work if you don't do the gums, Kurt. Come on.
I think we're putting more effort into the humor in this review than they did in the entire 2 hours that they made this special.
Okay. Well, so first off, go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
I was going to say, it says everything about the quality of the special that we're all sitting here now with a very good understanding of how to do cocaine.
Yeah, exactly. I know I've never done it before, but if I did, I know what the effect is going to be on my creative output.
I read Eric Clapton's autobiography in the 8th grade, so I think I have a pretty good idea on how to do it.
But, all right, so here's something else to it. I'm going to start pointing this out now. I figured this is my calling because Friday, Steven Spielberg's West Side Story opens. And from what I have heard, they are not subtitling any of the Spanish speaking at all.
Oh, yeah.
It's just going to be, they're just going to speak Spanish, and it's not going to be subtitled. And I can already hear the discourse losing their goddamn minds over it. And I'm just going to look at him and go, hey, listen, when I was 6 years old, I spent 8 fucking minutes listening to Wookiees speak to each other, sans subtitles at all. 8 minutes of
you couldn't subtitle it. Yeah, I don't speak Wookiee. I know a lot of things about Star Wars and the canon. I don't know how to speak Wookiee. I don't know how to speak Jabba the Hutt's language. I don't know how to speak much language or read the letters.
You can't read Basic. That's what it's called. It's called Basic. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. I can't read Basic.
Yeah, as a movie theater manager, I've heard that rumor that all Spanish will not be subtitled in West Side Story.
Mm-hmm.
I live in a small town in the middle of nowhere. I still will prefer dealing with a bunch of small town people going, I didn't know that they were gonna speak so much foreign language and not have the courtesy.
How dare the Puerto Ricans speak their native language? Yeah.
I'll take American. That. I'll take that over whatever Cirque du Soleil cover band was dancing around in this.
Oh my God. I was just like, and the sad thing is that acrobatics act broke up the monotony of Wookiee jabber. It really did. And it was just like, at some points, I felt like Nala was just going to just kill her young because that's how she was responding to Lumpy.
Not only was she responding to Lumpy like that, Itchy was responding to Lumpy like that. Like the grandfather wanted to kill his grandson in some kind of weird infanticide.
I mean,
oh God,
you already name your kid Lumpy.
Yeah. You know what though?
Already you're not showing signs of affection towards him.
I'm sure that Wikipedia's got the full name on there, and it's probably Lumpthwark Digglebutt or something. I don't know.
Lumpy Jar Jar Binks.
You're right, exactly. It's Chewie is short for Chewbacca, so maybe Lumpy is Lumpbacca. I don't know.
You could be right.
Itchy is just itchy because, dude, that Wookiee's fur is probably just matted with decades of just dried jizz, because that is really all I remember from him. Just sitting there with that visor on, like,
yeah, you could tell he is jacking it. It's like, god dang, it's like this was on primetime television in the 70s.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, good lord.
Yeah. Well, the grandfather is literally what happens if the witch lady from Dark Crystal doesn't shave for a month. That's exactly who that is.
Agra? Yeah.
Yeah. That is 100% who that is.
It looked like the Morlocks from the Time Machine.
Yes.
Like
the good Time Machine.
Yeah, the 50s one with Rod Taylor.
Rod Taylor, yes.
Yeah, from
love that movie.
Yeah, they looked like Morlocks. If like Morlocks were they were the bargain basement version of the Morlocks. go to like the 1970s version of the Spirit of Halloween.
Yeah.
Okay, I need something like that. Okay,
yeah.
It doesn't have to be good looking. We can maybe articulate the mouth, and that's all I need.
And while we're at it, let's find some costumes for Harvey Korman, because he can't stoop any lower than this.
Let's see. We got the chef lady.
The whole chef lady skit. I'm watching it going, did anyone tell him what this is for? Did they have somebody who could kind of do a Carol Burnett voice and just convince him over the phone that the show was back and that he was doing it?
Yeah, he shows up to set one day.
Just throw something random together just for us as a starting base, and he just randomly did that. It's like, I don't think he knows he's in this special right now.
Yeah, he's like watching on the night they air this. He's just flipping through the 3 networks, and it lands on CBS, and it's that scene. What? I was in that. I thought, where's Carol and where's Tim?
He's angrily calling up Carol Burnett.
Yeah.
Like, you lied to me, and she's just like, don't ever call here again, Harvey.
I was gonna say he couldn't live on the residuals. I think Carol Burnett probably was off the air at this point in 1978.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So he's like, okay, I'll just. It's like, okay, you pay me for a day, I'll come. Shoot your crappy special. You pay me $200 in 1978. I'm in like Flint.
So let me ask you guys, which of the guest stars did you feel the most sorry for?
Diane Carroll.
You felt the worst for Diane Carroll? She didn't have to interact with anybody.
No, but that scene is just so creepy.
Well, yeah.
I think I just feel bad for that because she seemed like such a cool, nice person, and she had to do that.
She was doing ASMR porn.
Yeah, she was doing the ASMR porn. That's how I describe it. My friend and I described it like that too when we first watched this. I'm like, yeah, that's ASMR porn.
Oh my god, it's at least she had she get to work solo, and she had no idea what the context of it was. It's really hard for me to figure out if I feel bad for Art Carney, because I feel like at that point in his career, it's like, okay, well, I'm too fat to do the honeymooners reunions now.
He gets to. Yeah, he gets to do some fun stuff in it, in the context of the whole, in the context of some of his individual things, he's getting to have some fun.
Yeah, for me, I feel like he was the only one who looked like he was having any semblance of enjoyment.
Yeah. The person I felt the worst for was easily the Arthur. Oh,
she looked perturbed.
I mean,
to be there.
Hey, you finally get a chance to work with Harvey Korman. Caveat, it's going to be in one of the worst ripoffs of like John Patrick Stanley you're ever going to see. Then we're going to just have you run around for 2 minutes begging and pleading with people, which is totally what you're known for. And then we're going to have you sing a weird song that would have gotten you fired from MAME. So,
right.
It was just losses across the board for her.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer, and that is her descendant. Her descendant is that's her character's descendant from History of the World Part 1. the unemployment clerk. I think that's her descendant from like thousands of years ago. Like just this curmudgeon-y bar owner on a distant planet where she has to try to chase out aliens.
Oh god,
and not even like good looking. Like they, you know what made
they were thrown together.
The Cantina Scene, yeah. The Cantina Scene was my first introduction to both Rick Baker and Rob Bottin, because they did this on the cheap because it was Star Wars had that small budget. They made it work. Yeah, George Lucas notoriously hated the Cantina aliens, but they looked nice because you didn't see them up close, and you saw them in 35 millimeter film. You didn't see them on tape. They looked horrible when they were shot on tape.
I'm still trying to figure out the mouse. There's like that one giant like mouse or rat stuffed animal that she is talking to because Maud.
I was halfway expecting Mr. Finley to walk in through the door.
I felt like we were gonna at some point just cut to producers holding the pilot script of the Golden Girl going, well, she'll do anything.
No, they do this. They do like the 3D House of Pancakes thing from SCTV.
Yeah. They're just looking at that pilot script going, you're not going anywhere. It's so bad. And there's the all right, so first of all, I know I'm not supposed to be questioning in this because I'm sure cocaine will dictate everything going forward, but Harvey Korman's like head anus thing that he's pouring his drinks in, what evolutionary purpose does that have for that species? Because he's obviously able to talk through his mouth. Can he not ingest liquids through there? What happens if other things fall in there? Is there like a something there to keep?
Like the back of the throat has that thing that prevents like the liquids from going down your air tube and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it's something like that, but I don't know. I think they just like, Star Wars, they look whimsical. Let's just have him look whimsical. How can we do that? Let's put a big anus on the top of his forehead.
How can we make him drinking something funny?
Yeah, exactly.
Was it the riff? It's not every day you see the stupidest thing you've ever saw.
Oh man, the riff tracks for this was just it was a saving grace for me, having seen this so many times throughout. I remember we got a copy of it, like a Comic-Con copy of it, and that's the only copy that exists is the Baltimore TV copy. I think if they, like Tom said, they edited the commercials out. I kind of feel like in order to fully enjoy this and really put yourself in the moment of 1970s, you need the commercials in there because those frigging garment workers union ads
with the bald dude with like who's like missing teeth. He looks like kind of like like a hockey player from like the Minnesota North Stars in the 70s. Just
and then all the grandmothers, all the 1950s grandmothers that have all shown up to sing the union song
and shrieking,
and I get what you're saying because I grew up watching VHS tapes from when MTV for one Sunday just played as many episodes as they could fit in of the Monkees.
Oh yes,
and so my dad taped like 5 cassettes worth of Monkees, and that I grew up watching those cassettes, and of course he literally just put them in, hit record, and let them go. So I used to have the trailer for House, the 1980s movie. I used to have that trailer memorized.
Oh, nice.
I would jokingly, I'd call for my sister. She'd come into a room and I'd be standing on a chair, not with news, but just standing on a chair, and be like, "Leave while you can." And then I'd jump off the chair, and she'd know, and she would know to go, "No." So I get it. Like, yeah, it really, there were like 50 million Burger King ads and all sorts of stuff like that on those. So I get like how entertainingly in the time period that stuff can put you.
Yeah.
Yes. The 1970s adverts are just they're a genre unto themselves.
It is so easy to fall down a rabbit hole with those. I became like, so there was a weekend where it's pretty much all I watched. I had just had outpatient surgery, and I'm just like, okay, well, I can't do anything. Let me just hop on YouTube and watch as many 1970s commercials that I could watch. And I mean, they're all practically the same. Like every cold and flu remedy thing, they're all virtually the same. My side of the medicine cabinet has these. Mine has contracts. The one thing though we didn't see, and again, I think it's because it's the family nature of the show itself. There were a lot of beer ads that I watched, and a lot of these beer ads are for shit beer that are being drunk by guys who literally just finished piloting airplanes. Let's see if I can grab something. Hang on a minute.
Is it,
oh dear!
One of these? Hold on a minute here. Get this button off of here.
What is? Oh, no, it was not a Billy beer. No, I've actually never seen a commercial for Billy beer.
I have a can of Billy beer.
Oh, God bless you. God bless you.
I saw it at an antique store, and I'm like, okay, I need to have this. I got a Billy beer can, a Schlitz can, and an Iron City. And I only got Iron City because of Dawn of the Dead. Because that's what they're drinking when the farmers are hunting the zombies in the original Dawn of the Dead. They're drinking Iron City because that's Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I remember, okay, so my first introduction to Iron City beer, before we get back to the thing, was Secret Wars 2, the Marvel Secret Wars 2. Mm-hmm. It was the Beyonder's favorite beer. And in fact, he's on a planet somewhere. And he asked for, give me a drink. What do you want? And he's like, and they're listing out all this stuff. He's like, no, Earth beer, Iron City, the good stuff. And I had, by chance, my mother's boyfriend at the time told him, I was like, oh yeah, I was reading this thing about Iron City beer. He's like, oh, that stuff's garbage. I'm like, really? He's like, let me go get some for you. He had some. We tried it. It's swill.
No, swill was the stuff they dredged from Lake Michigan or Lake Erie in that SNL commercial.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
I always I love whenever anyone's just like, oh, that stuff, God, I hate that stuff. It's terrible. Let me get you some.
Yeah. My mother's old boyfriend, too, was the guy who actually test marketed menthol beer. True story.
I assume he's dead.
I don't want to.
Unfortunately, yeah, he did. He died like 20 years ago. So
poor guy.
But yeah, no, he wasn't drinking it. He just got paid to test market it. So back to the nightmare, which is Star Wars, the holiday special. All right, so out of the original cast of Star Wars characters, who did you feel the most sorry for?
Mark.
Okay, so we were watching it. My wife was like, What is up with his makeup? Why is there so much of it?
Yep.
And as it turned out, and I couldn't find it on IMDb. I figured IMDb or Wikipedia would totally tell me that. No, I actually had to do a Google search for why is Mark Hamill's makeup so heavy? This was a few months after his accident, where his entire face had to be, surgically restructured.
Was it when they were doing Corvette Summer? Was that or before?
I think it was I think he filmed Corvette Summer, and then he had I don't remember the exact timeline. He also might have been filming.
As I say, I thought that they just got done filming Star Wars, and he was filming Corvette Summer, or something like that, and that's when he had his accident. Because there's like shots in Corvette Summer where they just shoot like part of his face. And it's the part of his face where he didn't have the scars.
Yeah, but they had to for the makeup they had to go heavy on it to cover up a lot of scars and stuff like that. And then when they lit the stage, and this is TV lighting that they're dealing with, it looks like, oh, he's really washed out. Put more makeup on him. I can't see his eyes. Well, the eyeliner needs to be heavier. I honestly think for me, it's Carrie Fisher. I feel the most sorry for her because she was obviously in no condition to have actually said yes willingly to this.
Yeah.
Well, she's the one who demanded that she sing at the end. That's on her.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, Tom.
Cocaine and Ford. at that time.
Oh my thing.
She, like, because there was a point when she first is, she's talking to Nala and C-3PO's there. She bumps into the table.
Oh, while she's at her desk job.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just using an Earth pen to write down these things.
It's the 1970s. It's still the 1970s. There's only like 3 things women can do at this point.
It's like, Leia, you have a call. Okay, boss is still at the lunch, so I have an hour to answer this call. What's up, guys?
But like, she gets up and she like walks into the corner of the table, and I'm just looking at her like, this isn't right. No. I feel filthy watching this right now because she's just like, she can barely hold her head up to the point where she's overcompensating.
Yeah.
Because most of her dialogue is like done like this.
Yeah.
She's definitely on something. Poor Mark is probably still on painkillers to help get him through doing all this, despite the fact that he's still giving it his all.
He is. I have to appreciate Mark Hamill. The older I get, the more I appreciate Mark Hamill, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's like now he's just becoming the best thing in even mediocre stuff. Like, I don't know if I've shared my opinions of Invincible with you guys. Ain't nothing spectacular about it, but he's good. He's good for his 3 scenes that he's in.
Yeah. I still haven't watched it.
I haven't.
I was just like, oh, it's another ultra violent cartoon superhero.
Yep, exactly. Hey, congratulations!
It's The Boys, but animated. Well,
yeah, exactly. Congratulations, you turned Superman evil. Zack Snyder's like just in a corner somewhere, just beating himself mercilessly. Like, why can't I do it?
Why doesn't anyone appreciate when I do it? Twitter.
I actually leaned over. Have you guys seen
Zack Snyder's The Blueprint tweets?
Have both of you guys seen The Eternals?
No, I have not seen The Eternals.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I want to say my thing then because I don't want to ruin it for Kurt. All I'll say is I leaned over to my friend as we watched it and went, "Well, MCU did it before Snyder could. Turned Superman evil." But and then Harrison Ford is just like, Harrison Ford has no poker face.
No.
Even in movies that he doesn't want to be in, he's just...
Yeah. He lost a bet. I just don't know what kind of bet it was. Like, did he lose at a
If he could safely
game?
land a plane, he didn't have to be in this movie.
And that could have been a coin flip. Could have been, hey, here's a girl over in that corner. Leave her alone. Oh, now you have to be in this. There could have been any number of things at that time, but he lost some sort of bet.
Oh, I felt bad for him. I also felt bad for the poor bastards that had to recolor planets using original Star Wars footage.
Yeah.
And then recoloring it.
It's literally
it's Yavin 4.
Yavin 4, and they just painted it green.
Yep.
It's like they literally did what Luigi Cosi did for Godzilla with Godzilla, just painted this weird Technicolor crap.
Yep.
And it's like we know what this is from. We just saw this at this point a year ago. We know what this is, which is also my biggest fault about the stock footage in this movie. Stop reminding me of much better things I'd rather be watching.
Exactly.
Well,
go ahead.
I felt bad that Chewie's just having all these memories, and it just kind of ends at, and that's when I didn't deserve a medal like the humans. It's like he's really telling the story as a warning. Like, the lesson of this story: don't help people. They'll never appreciate it.
Right, exactly. Altruism is bad. Ayn Rand taught me that.
Keep saying here playing with we legally can't call them Legos.
I will say, when I was a kid, I really wanted that Bantha Stuffy.
That's I was saying here. When I was watching, I was going, man, I'm kind of like, I'm kind of impressed that I've never seen any of what he's playing with available at your local retailer. And
Which
then
is
they ripped
insane.
the head off of it, and I was like, well, maybe they didn't want to show off how breakable one of their toys is.
Well, I seem to remember too when they pull the head off, and there's like a huge spike that was holding
it's
the
like a
head on.
peg,
That was
yeah,
like one of
it's a
those
peg.
Dan Aykroyd,
The
toys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bag of glass,
bag of glass.
sulfuric acid, bag of vipers.
Oh god, stop reminding me of better things. I will say my favorite use of stock footage this entire movie though is when they had James Earl Jones redoing the voice of Vader during the hallway walk, and Darth Vader actually uses the word households.
Yeah, that's literally like a deleted scene that they didn't use in Star Wars. Like, okay, we can't get the suit. It's like, okay, David Prowse won't let it go. So it's like, what can we do? Well, we don't have to pay David Prowse anything, and we don't have to pay the other actor anything. What we could do is there's this deleted scene that they used right around the destruction of Alderaan. And like, okay, let's just use that. We'll ADR some of the lines. We'll pay James Earl Jones to ADR for one. Well, he really had like 2 spots in the movie or the special. He had that one scene, and they had the scene in the cartoon.
Yes.
But I don't. Did he actually do? I don't remember. Did any of the original voices do the cartoon?
Yes, they all were.
They did. Okay,
because Mark and Carrie and Harrison were themselves, and Anthony Daniels was C-3PO, and
I was so distracted by the terrible animation.
I could hear the contempt in the voice. It had to be Harrison. It had to be Harrison Ford. There was too much.
Why did I do this movie?
That's not how contracts work.
I was an American Graffiti, and this is crap.
When I was a carpenter, my union was a lot better.
He's sitting at the bar. He's sitting at a bar somewhere in Hollywood, and, like drinking some Johnny Walker Red, and like, oh god. Okay, so you're gonna pay me this much to do this special? Okay, I'm in.
But speaking though on what you were saying, like stop reminding me of better things. While not always the case, I kind of found it amazing that despite how bad this thing is, I kept watching it going, wait, did people steal from this or something? Because like we get to the end with the Tree of Life sequence, and I'm sitting there going, wow, there really isn't a single original thing in James Cameron's Avatar. He even stole from this.
Oh, God.
Chewbacca's house.
Yeah.
God.
Chewbacca's house. The first time I saw it, I was like, why does this look familiar? Why does this look so familiar? And by the second or third time that they were berating Lumpy, I went, oh my God, this is the House of Tomorrow that Joker hides in House A Mask of the Phantasm.
Oh my
it's the
God,
same house.
It is. It is. I just watched it the other day. Yes, it is.
Also featuring Mark Hamill.
The Imperial Stormtrooper, who's really, really committed on his big break at the Art Carney's trade store.
Oh, yeah.
That's clearly where Adam Driver got all his inspiration for Kylo Ren. It's the same performance. I was like, how is so much stolen from this? This is not worth stealing from.
All right, so the Imperial Troopers. So those troopers were essentially background just decorations in the original movie. I mean, I remember getting the action figure, and they were called Death Squad Troopers, and then someone was like, we should change that. But they did something with their helmets, though, that made them all look like they were all like the helmet had a receding hairline.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
go ahead, Andy.
I was just going to say that the guy that they picked to do, to steal from Art Carney, first of all, just the worst, Rob Reiner circa All in the Family mustache. Just kind of guy with his vast doughy midsection, and when Art Carney gives him the thing, he literally shoves it in the front of his pants. And I'm like, I remember this, and I'm glad now it's not a fever dream that I experienced. This guy literally did this. And the other guy, the other Imperial Trooper, who I was just half expecting he was just going to do that thing where he just did the finger on the gloves just to pull it off, and then maybe look at Itchy and just slap him with it. So you're not going to tell me where they are you, Wookiee? Well, we have ways of finding out what you're going to do. Slap that big stupid jaw. Kurt, what were you going to say?
The helmets, the Death Squad helmets, they look like Toshiro Mifune's helmet from Seven Samurai, but it loses its impact when you have someone who looks like Ned Flanders as the Death Squad commander in Art Carney's shop.
What drove me nuts too, and now it's like as I was watching this, and like the Star Wars nerd is really coming out of me at this point. Mm. Why are the stormtroopers holding their guns like that?
Yeah,
like they had they're holding it, but they were holding on to what I'm assuming is an ammunition clip. I've never figured this out.
Yes, it is.
And it's like, why are you holding it like it's a power drill?
I think the guns that they used to kit bash. I think they had when they were making Star Wars. I think I can't remember what specific gun it is. I think it's I don't remember who made it or what country uses it. But you would grab it by the magazine on the side. Like in I think Last Crusade. I think a couple of them have them.
But those are more machine guns, though. These are these are blasters. They're mini rifles.
Yeah. I don't know why either. They just they didn't get the British crew. They just got some guys from Sherman Oaks to come in.
Yep.
All right, here's $1 and a cigarette. Put this armor on. Hold the gun. You don't have to say a line. We'll pay you.
Yep.
You get for the rest of the table for a day.
Yeah, for the rest of your life, you could probably get laid saying you did a Star Wars.
Well, which Star Wars did you do? I did the holiday special. Then she just gets up, walks
exactly. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just got wicked dry right now. I'll see you later.
It was CBS, so I assume the conversation was along some level of, all right, we need somebody to be in the Stormtrooper outfits. What just finished for the day? Price is Right. Get me the guys who bring out the cars. Don't tell them what they're doing. Just throw them in. They'll be fine.
Oh. So I found out a very interesting thing, speaking of CBS. So with the ads, there was a show. It was like a stewardess show.
Oh, Flying High, which I have seen the pilot of.
Okay.
And there's some guy I watch on Twitch riffed it. Back during the summer, and I watched it, and I'm like, oh my god, this is everything that is great and wrong with the 70s.
Interesting point about that, though. Kevin Murphy says, doing that, enjoy a show that doesn't even have its own Wikipedia page. Because of that, somebody responded and watched the pilot and put out the create a Wikipedia page for it based on Kevin Murphy saying.
I think it was only on 5 episodes, so it's But shows like the Uncle Buck television show from the 80s has its own Wikipedia page, and some of these other ones that have been canceled after maybe 5 episodes have their own Wikipedia page. So it was about time that one got its own Wikipedia page.
Exactly.
The American version of Fawlty Towers. That one has one.
Yeah.
Let's also talk about the Bobby Vinton's rock and roller skating commercial with Stalker Channing. And I think Swayze was in it, and I can't remember who else.
Oh my god!
Just like who you could find in the 70s. Okay, who needs money?
Right. Stalker Channing just came off of Grease at that point. Yeah. She was a fresh young 36-year-old who just played a high school student.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, Stalker Channing needs money, I guess now. But yeah,
listen, this gravy train's not going to last long. Get me on the Bobby Vinton train.
Yeah, because who better than to do a rock and roll and roller skate show than a star from the 50s who no one has probably given a crap about at that point for probably about 30 years.
Yeah. Oh man, that's
I don't even think people probably
painful.
even give a crap about him in the 1950s.
I think he was like one of the perennial also rans. Like,
Yeah.
he was someone's second choice or their third choice.
Oh, let's see. Elvis
Frankie
Presley
Avalon
just
available?
died.
Bobby Vinton is shit. Can we push this off at all? No, we can't. All right, fuck. Vinton.
Elvis Presley just died. Okay, so we can't invite Elvis on anymore. Okay, so we got Bobby Vinton. What else? I made notes about one other thing, and it was so
So I will say we watched this prior to Thanksgiving, and for Thanksgiving breakfast, we usually do something just easy and fun, and usually it ends up being some kind of Pillsbury dough product. And so I told my daughter Scarlett as I was making the Pillsbury biscuits, it's like, yep, in your refrigerated dough section.
Get your mouth watering.
Yep. Tobor, you control Tobor. That's what Tobor wants you to think.
Tobor is robot spelled backwards. Let's see.
I will say I do want to give some credit in this to the Imperial officer, who is just is the Bob Fosse of finger snaps.
Yes.
Just
Olay.
I'm fancy.
I'm going to run to the bathroom.
I think what I made the notes for was about the Lucy the Lucy Goes to Nashville.
Oh my God.
Variety show with like Ronnie Millsap and Lynn Anderson and like these other like country stars who, well, I don't listen to Ronnie Millsap and I can't remember who the other ones were, but it's like okay. So Lucille Ball, who sounds like Pazuzu. Okay, you get your own country variety show for an hour. You get to go to Nashville. Here's Lynn Anderson. Here's Ronnie Millsap. Don't worry, he can't see a thing. So your agingness will not frighten him, but your voice might.
Oh God,
she sounded like this. I mean, I sounded like that when I had my appendectomy and they rammed a tube down my throat. I sound like Lucy towards the end of her life.
Pretty much. Hey, that's my bit. You don't steal my bit.
Biff.
Sadly, all my memories of I Love Lucy now all come from that Simpsons thing where you just hear like that. Oh, Ricky, you hit it really hard that time. Oh boy.
Oh, what else?
We laugh because we have to.
I just keep thinking about that terrifying photo of Nicole Kidman pretending that without eyebrows she looks like Lucille Ball.
Oh my God. I can't. I really am like, I just like schadenfreude want to see it just because I read I read a tell-all about the I Love Lucy show and how awful she was to Vivian Vance, and it's really all I want to see. I just want to see Vivian Vance get some recognition in this whole thing because she was pregnant and had to like crawl up a vent to get to the stage because Lucy needed the closer dressing room or something like that. So yeah, I'm all about that. But yeah, this series was just like, it was so, there's the weird thing is like every once in a while, if you were to revisit something, especially something that's over 40 years old, there's some nostalgic value to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even think this qualifies as camp. I even feel like this qualifies as camp in terms of nostalgia value. Yeah.
They tried. I mean, I'm not going to say that did not try. It wasn't for lack of trying. It's just
right.
No, I don't think any care was provided for the camp.
Right.
And camp's okay if you can do it. I mean, like Batman, the television show with Adam West and Burt Ward, it's campy, but I love it. Batman and Robin is campy, and I hate it.
It's all about the coulda, not shoulda.
Yeah.
Exactly. Go ahead, Tom.
There has to be a level of self-awareness, because that was, I mean, that Batman TV show is so self-aware. It's part of why people wanted to be on the show and why people loved playing the villains, is because it was self-aware. So you could just have fun. This has no self-awareness whatsoever, because people either don't want to be in it or are speaking Wookiee. And it...
I hear you.
That's the long and the short of it.
The show is going to be regulated as a curiosity. It's like it's a rite of passage for Star Wars fans.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, as a fan of Star Wars, no matter how young you are, you need to watch this. If you complain about anything in regards to Star Wars, period, book, TV, movie, you name it. Okay, you think you have it bad. Let me show you this, as well as a half hour of 1970s car ads.
And a television
Ford
commercial
has no jive turkeys. What's that?
Then television commercial for The Wiz.
Oh, The Wiz.
Oh, The Wiz. Possibly something more ill-conceived than the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Which makes sense, because it was directed by Joel Schumacher, or written by Joel Schumacher.
Yeah, it was. It was written by Joel Schumacher.
That just seems... I'm still amazed. That just seems like such a tough sell in the 70s. Hey, remember that thing you're nostalgic for? Hey, remember that neighbor that you wish would move out? What if we combined them? The Wiz.
My high school did an all white version of The Wiz once, so.
Which one was Michael Jackson?
I'm trying to remember. Well, I do know, because I went to high school with comedian Christian Finnegan.
Okay.
Oh,
you may be familiar with.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I went to high school with him. He was the lion in the all white wizard, The Wiz.
Oh.
So yeah.
Okay.
So now when I ever meet him, I'll say, "Hey, I know you played the lion in your school's production of The Wiz," because I know.
And there wasn't a single black face to be found in the entire thing.
No, because it wasn't the 20s, and you didn't go to Al Jolson High School.
Yeah, no, but you guys have all heard my story, right? That I've actually done a show where blackface was involved. In the 1990s.
No.
Yeah. Yep.
No.
Yep. I had no say in this, by the way.
Okay.
Just letting you know now.
Okay, I'm happy about that. But it's like, my
I was a consummate pro, but in spirit, I was holding my nose throughout the entire show, because it was nothing but offensive after offensive after offensive. It takes place in the Civil War. Yeah, we managed to. We lost so many cast members who couldn't stand our director's shit that we ended up casting a black man as a Confederate general. So, true story.
Oh, God. Wow. Okay, I have to see this. I want to see this now. I want to live in this David Lynchian world.
So yeah.
Oh, none.
All right. Yeah. I know. It leaves you, just for at a loss for words by how awful that was. And it was college, so I had no real say in the matter anyway. So, but any parting thoughts on the Star Wars Holiday Special? All I can say is watch it for the commercials. Watch it with the Riff Tracks commentary. It will keep you sane.
Mm-hmm.
Might keep you a little sober as well. As long, and I didn't say, even with the Riff Tracks thing, it was like there were a few gags. It was like, okay, can we need to move away from the Elton John gags?
Yeah.
And some of the stuff about B. Arthur's Adam's apple and Nads were,
yeah.
Hey, stop grabbing my Nads.
My parting words are: if you watch this, you think you'll have an appreciation as to why the prequels maybe not the worst thing you've ever seen.
Right. There you go.
I don't like the sequel trilogy. I've never been a fan of the sequel trilogy. I'm not ashamed to admit that. Okay, if you do, that's fine. I don't. I would rather watch the sequel trilogy, specifically Last Jedi on Endless Loop, over and over and over and over again, rather than watching this without the riff tracks, because it's just the most unbearable, gaudy 70s thing I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of 70s stuff, and this is probably the worst. I mean, all the B movies I've seen aren't even as this bad. Like the stuff I've seen, like they did on MST3K, not even that bad. Like I can watch some of these bad movies without riffs and love them. I can't watch this without the riffs. I have to have the riffs, because if I don't, I'm going to drive myself mad and bash my head in the wall, because it's atrocious. I mean, if you're going to do it, if you're going to just do it and just slap the Star Wars name on it, fine. But don't try to be something you're not. And this just tried to be too campy, because again, that style of the time. And no, it didn't. It just doesn't work.
No, they rushed it out to make sure people didn't stop buying the toys.
Right.
Between movies.
Right. Because at this point right now, I think the movie had just left the theater. I mean, not forget, this is before home video. It had already been through 2 releases at that point, with a third coming up the following year to lead into Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But this was all about the toys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So much to the way they had a commercial for the toys at the end of the special with Anthony Daniels selling you Kenner toys.
You know, I think at that point, though, he was just like, do I have to wear the suit this time? I don't.
Nope. He had to wear the suit.
Score. Fuck. What's the point? I'm just doing voiceover. Put the suit on, Anthony.
We really
uncomfortable fucking thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's a method actor.
You did this in Tunisia in the summer. You can do this in a studio in Burbank for 2 hours.
At least Kenny got out of this.
Literally the person who was the
Boy, FYI. Judith.
Boy.
Trying to get the boy.
Boy, like
Voices
like boy
of you?
from Phantasm?
I missed that.
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Voyage of Heaven?
Maybe?
I'll just keep guessing.
I feel like the VO is voiceover. Maybe it was voiceover. FYI. It could have been. I don't know. I just feel like... I think it would be hilarious, though, just imagining Anthony Daniels, like an 80-year-old Anthony Daniels, doing the voiceover for C-3PO for, like, Clone Wars or something, and still having to put the suit on. And, like, the 70s suit with all the jagged, sharp edges and stuff in there that probably got, like, a crippling painkiller addiction, too, because of...
Yeah, but I forgot to bring this up. It wasn't Kenny Baker doing R2-D2. It was Mick Garris, the screenwriter, the horror screenwriter, who was doing it remote control.
Yeah, remote.
Okay. Because everybody got credit for their roles except for R2-D2. Was like, and R2-D2 as R2-D2. It's like, meanwhile, Kenny Baker is sitting in his London flat somewhere with like a pint of bitters in his tiny hand going.
He's got his big cigar.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't cool, mate. This was just not. It's again. I feel like it's definitely a rite of passage. You know, we're not allowed to just like ritually circumcise our boys now to make them men. We need to show them something, and I think this is good enough for that. I don't know where the fuck that analogy came from, but I apologize straight out.
Own it.
I have to own it now. I have to own that now.
I don't have a son. You can commit to it all you want.
At some point, I'm gonna have to. But you know, I feel like it is definitely because you know my kids. So my kids are of the age where we talked about the kids who grew up in the '90s. That the prequels are kind of their movies.
Yeah,
the sequels are kind of my kids' generations of movies. But everybody, I think we can all join hands, this generational gap of ours, and just all agree that you have to watch the holiday special at least once in your lifetime with the full commercials, including the ad for Roger Moore and the Wild Geese, and
The Wild Geese 2 with Patrick Stewart.
and they have to watch this. If you say you're a Star Wars fan, eh?
Yeah, well,
I think
there's
there's
I've known plenty of people that are like, "Oh, you're a Star Wars fan, huh? Did you watch the holiday special? You haven't?
yeah,
Then
it's like
shut up."
yeah, it's our
exactly.
It's our code. It's just like that's how you gauge someone's Star Wars nerdiness. You watch the holiday special? No, amateur.
Yeah. Oh, you think you're a Star Wars fan, huh? Come on, Nala. Give me a smile. Why did they put lipstick on that Wookiee?
They missed out on that. I think they missed out to make that canonical in Solo. They had that one scene where Chewbacca has that one Wookiee. I think it's when they're breaking out of that prison plant, or whatever. Oh my,
Kessel.
On Kessel. It's like you could have made that Mala. Come on,
That
Ron Howard. It's like you could have thrown a bone to us, those of us who have been fans. You know, I've been a fan since I was 5 years old.
Maybe that's what got Miller and Lord fired, is they tried to make it.
Exactly.
Her, and they were
Don't
just
you
like,
fucking bring it up.
You do that, and you're done.
Meanwhile, like someone's calling up Favreau, going, "Hey, they took your idea. Execute them."
Yeah, it's like
because the very first episode of Mandalorian, they made Life Day canon.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to go back and watch. I have to go back and watch it. I don't think I ever caught that.
Horatio Sands' unbearable character had to go use the refresher because he partied too much on Life Day or some nonsense like that.
Okay.
And they actually, Life Day is a real thing in Star Wars canon now.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
I'm still convinced that within a year of when George Lucas passes, whenever that is, within a year of him passing, they will release this on video.
That
unless he has it in his, like, they are like Star Wars. As fans, Star Wars has always been pretty cash grabby.
No, you don't say, says me with the Star Wars pillowcase
and
Star Wars hoodie, Star Wars shirt, and posters.
The one thing stopping it at this point is the fact that he wants it destroyed. Unless for some reason in his will he puts like, hey, whatever hole they dug all those Atari ETs out of, you have to put all copies of Star Wars Holiday Special in. Unless they do that within a year, it is going to get a video release.
I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, honestly, I'm more prone to believe that within a year of Lucas dying, we'll actually have decent digital copies of the original trilogy pre-special edition.
Yeah.
I firmly agree that's gonna. I mean, and we look at it this way too, because the second you brought that up, Tom, I'm like, Jerry Lewis has been dead for 5 years, and we still don't have the day the crown cried. So,
yeah.
He might. I mean, I could believe that Jerry Lewis in his will was like, "Yeah, I want you guys to like wrap me up in that footage.
Yeah, wrap me up
so
with
that way I know it's buried down there with me. Like, if you guys have to grave rob if you want to see the movie that bad."
Right. You remember that movie I made where I was a clown in a concentration camp?
Oh, hi, Ivan.
Please make sure nobody ever sees that. And while you're at it, take all my children out of my will. Freeloaders.
Make sure no one ever sees the movie, and never ever tell me about the movie that Roberto Bernini won an Oscar for. Never tell me about it.
Oh man, the only person who's more upset about other than all of us about Roberto Benigni winning is Ian McKellen.
That was the year of
if you don't get the reference, look it up. Gods and Monsters, hands down, probably his best performance outside of Gandalf. But what do I know, right?
Yeah,
I still love me that weird pseudo-Nazi Richard III movie that he made with
Oh, that was good.
Annette
That was really
Bening
good.
and Robert Downey Jr.
Yep. Wow. It's funny to think of Robert Downey Jr. anything pre-Tony Stark, but neither here nor there, right?
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for filling the place of my co-host Mike
Stupid
for
notes.
this. Woo! Yeah.
Really season
You guys, I really appreciate it. So, Tom, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at movieswork. You can find our podcast, Movies After Work, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, pretty much where you find the majority of podcasts. We are on a bit of a longer hiatus right now, but hopefully we will be back soon into the new year with some new content for you guys to listen to and enjoy.
Fantastic. Kurt, how about you? Where can we find you?
Well, I'm the only one in this show that doesn't have a podcast, but you can find me on Twitter at Swayze of Arabia. I am also on Letterboxd. You can find my account linked on my Twitter bio. I'm going to start writing more reviews, hopefully after Christmas and after the New Year, because that's what I been wanting to do for a while now.
Nice.
Yeah, mostly just on Twitter. I'm on Instagram if you want to look me up. It's Swayze_of_Arabia. Yeah, that's where I am. And
Awesome.
Tweeting random stuff about Tucker Carlson and being a piece of shit. So you can find me there.
Yeah.
But TV dinners are so delicious.
No, they're not.
Oh, I know.
They're like, I'd rather eat salt out of the bag with a freaking spoon.
And as for me, you can. I host a little podcast called Geek Salad. You can check that out wherever you get your podcast. Pretty much the same place as Tom broadcasts from, because this is what we do. So iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, you name it, we're there. You can follow me on Twitter at Geek Salad Radio and on Facebook at Geek Salad Podcast. The holidays coming up, folks. So that means go to TeePublic, use the keyword Geek Salad Podcast, and find our merch. I promised merch this year. It's my biggest failing of 2021. I never put out anything new.
I was going to say,
I got lazy.
You were supposed to be working on new designs for...
I've been working on new merch for a year. And it's just, I want... Here's the thing. I want to move away from the Funko thing. And it's just tough. I'm not artistic. And I'm literally using off-the-shelf software. I'm not buying shit to do any of my own design. And I can't lean on Catherine to do any of that. So what's that?
I can't say I blame you for that. Get
Mike. Yeah, I know. It's just Mike is less artistic than I am.
I mean, it's kind of interesting.
Don't feel too bad. After 2 years of doing our show, or give or take, I finally went, I should really sit down and figure out how to do like a theme song or something, or just music, so it's not just us awkwardly talking. Maybe if we sounded like we weren't just awkwardly rambling.
What was
don't
that
feel
one,
too bad about the merch.
That one thing that M posted on Twitter, the review of Verbal Diorama. Oh, the theme song. There's the theme song lacks originality. It's like, what? The theme song doesn't lack originality. The title of the podcast is Verbal Diorama, and that's the name of the theme song.
Exactly. It was written specifically for her show. To be single and have a decent job is all I'm saying, because she knocked it out of the park with that one. She actually was able to pay people to do that. So
she's just killing it on the whole.
Yeah.
So
she's better than the three of us combined. She really is.
Well, I don't have a podcast, so there's like no litmus test for me.
Yeah, well, you're just skewing our numbers then, Kurt. Come on.
Yeah,
there's three of us here.
Hey, we're in the minority. Yay!
It makes M look better. Is all I'm gonna say.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, guys, thanks again so much for joining us. If I don't actually physically speak with you guys, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and for everyone out there, Mike will be back next week when we return to the Santa Claus trilogy.
Santa Claus.
Because this pain train's gonna keep on rolling. Yeah, I know. I've already watched all three of them, and I'll give my opinions later. So anyway, folks, Until next time, I'm Andy from Geek Salad. Go forth and be nerdful. Talk to you later.